Hi everyone, and welcome to another video on Building a Dream Portugal. In today's video we're going to be discussing buying property in Portugal. This is the second video of the series, and we're going to focus on how to avoid getting scammed when buying a property in Portugal. Now, when I say scammed, I mean just how can you make sure you're getting what's being advertised and not something else, for example. So if the property being sold to you or you're looking to buy says that it comes with 5,000 square meters, how can you make sure that's what you're going to get, if that makes sense? I mean, by the title I made it sound like, you know, everyone selling a house is a crook and they're going to rip you off. No, that's not the case. But unfortunately we live in a world where some people do try and rip you off, or mistakes happen. Whenever someone sells a house here in Portugal, they need to provide certain documents. Now, some say it's the estate agent's responsibility to make sure that the seller provides these documents. However, that's not always the case, and different estate agents work differently. But I'm going to tell you what these documents are now. So these documents are not in any particular order. Document number 1 is Caderneta Predial. Document number 2, Registo Predial. Document number 3 is architectural plans, which have to be stamped by the local Câmara. Number 5 is an energy certificate. Number 6 is a habitation license, or a certificate proving that the property is exempt from a habitation license. So we're going to go over these 6 documents and I'll explain what each one is, and then I will explain or provide solutions in how to, you can guarantee that you're getting what you're buying. It's very difficult over here in Portugal to get it 100% right, if that makes sense, just because of how the inheritance laws work, how the land registry functions over here, and how everything has changed over time, if that makes sense. So document number 1, the Caderneta Predial. What is it? Well, it depends on what property you're buying. If you're buying a rustic land one, an urban land one, or a mixed one. So if it's rustic, you'll get a certificate for rustic. If it's urban, you get one for urban. If it's mixed, you'll get 2 documents, 2 Cadernetas Predial, both for one urban and one rustic. And in it will explain who the title holder is of the property, how big the area is that's been registered with the council, and also it's a document which the council uses to calculate how much tax you pay on that property. Document number 2, Registo Predial. Basically, this gives a description of the land that's registered and who owns it, basically, who the owners are, the total owners. If there's more than one, they'll all be listed on this, and it will give a small description of the land. Architectural plans, document number 3. Now, these have to have been stamped by the local Câmara. So what that means is that if you're going to get a mortgage on this property, the bank will only go by what's on the architectural plans, nothing else. So they will determine the value of the property using these architectural plans and a survey. However, if the seller has added a pergola or a covered terrace and stuff like that, they will not take that into account when it comes to do the survey. Only go by what's on the architectural plans. An energy certificate is document number 4. Now this is exactly what it is, just says how energy efficient the building is. Doesn't have any other use whatsoever. But you have to have one by law to sell property here. Habitation license is document number 6. and that just proves that the building has passed all the building regulations and is certified as in livable condition, pretty much. Or you'll get a certificate that says that the house is exempt from a habitation license. So how can you make sure that you're getting what you're paying for? Well, there is a number of ways of doing it, and it involves going to the land registry and the local camera to verify the details. Now, for example, you could be shown a property with the estate agent, and the estate agent can be saying, oh, it's got planning permission for this and planning permission for that, and you can do this and that with it. The only way you can verify that is if you go to the local camera and check if there have been any plans submitted and plans authorized. And then whilst you're there, you can actually check what the registered size of land is that they have there. If they can't provide the size of the land, they can give you a map, and then you can use that map to help identify the boundaries of the property and to make sure the sizes and whatever the seller is saying that the property goes all the way to that tree or all the way to that wall is actually correct. It's really difficult here in Portugal when it comes to old pieces of old properties and old pieces of land to verify the sizes, because some of them go back to pre-1950s, and where record keeping was really sketchy, and how they would do it back then is by placing markers in the ground. Now these markers over the years, lots of them have been ripped out, so it's really difficult to verify the boundaries in old properties. But it's a rough estimation, and it might be out 50, 60, even 100 square meters, but if you're willing to accept that, then that's fine. That shouldn't be an issue. Now, when it comes to the Caderneta Predial, you can, because in the rustic section or urban section, it will have the total area in it, then you can use that information to help verify the size of the property being sold to you. So, for example, if the Caderneta Predial only say that the property has 250 urban and 250 rustic, that's 500. Yet they're saying, the estate agent or the seller is saying that you get 1,000, then there's a 500 square meter discrepancy there. So you need to either investigate why that is, or B, just avoid that property completely. Now, estate agent fees. Who pays for the estate agent fees here in Portugal? Well, it's the seller. The estate agent fees here in Portugal, across the board, is usually 5% of the selling value of the property. So, whatever the property sells for, the estate agent makes 5%, and the seller pays for it. Now, I've heard stories that the estate agent will try and get the buyer to pay an extra percentage and say that, oh, the seller doesn't cover it, it's the buyers. That's nonsense. No. The seller always pays the fees to the estate agent. Now, because the estate agents make 5% here in Portugal, they want to try and get the most out of the property that they can. So they might turn around and say it's got planning permission for this and that. Always verify this. Now, when it comes to the size of the property as well, you can try go to the land registry, but however, it's hit and miss if it's accurate. But it can give you a rough estimate. It can give you a map of the area which you can use to plot if you so wish and stuff. So it's not 100% accurate. But all of this, helps minimizes the risks of you being scammed. So you get what you pay for. Another thing is, say for example, wherever you're going to buy your land or house or property, whatever it may be, try and find a solicitor within that area, if that makes sense. Now, this might sound weird, but why? Well, because they may have local knowledge, they may have knowledge of the boundaries and history of properties, and etc, etc, etc. So if there does come a problem with missing documents or boundary issues and stuff like that, then they should hopefully be able to come to the bottom of it and resolve it for you. Now, whilst we're talking about solicitors or lawyers to buy property, just be mindful in how they charge for their fees. Now, some solicitors will charge a percentage of the value of the property, whilst others will charge you by the hour for their services. Now, which is cheaper, that's for you to determine and you to decide. But I know that if you're buying a property for 200,000-300,000 euros, I would definitely be looking to get a lawyer that charges by the hour and not by percentage value of property. So there is this website, it's called the Direção-Geral do Território, or DGT for short, and it's basically the lands department. So what you want to do is use it to check that in a piece of land that you buy, everything is yours. This is really important when you're buying large plots of land, so you can check that you own the whole area and no one else owns like 200-300 square meters within that plot of land. So you just come here, you put in your details and stuff, put in your information, and it basically checks all the land. It shows the articles and the boundaries of those articles, so you can actually physically check what you're buying, pretty much. So this is the last one, the DGT website. I'll put a link in the description for it. So guys, that's my tips and tricks, if you so call them, into how to avoid getting scammed when buying a property in Portugal. I shouldn't use the word scam. You know, scammed makes it, as I said at the beginning, it makes it sound like everyone here is a crook. But it's a case of, how can you guarantee that you get what you pay for, basically, and that you're not taken for a ride? You get promised the world and you get peanuts, if that makes sense. How to avoid that scenario. How to verify what they say is actually what it is. However, so if you do decide to go on a journey property hunting in Portugal, just be prepared to visit the camera loads of times, is all I'm going to say. Because it is a journey and it does take forever. So, welcome to Portuguese bureaucracy. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll be coming up with a third video for you guys soon. If you want me to make a video about a certain topic or anything like that, then let me know. Leave a comment down below. Peace out.